Welcome to the Trails Committee meeting on December 13th. I am calling the meeting to order at 5:31. I'll do a roll call. Let me know that you're here when I call your name. William Warren.
Here.
Tom McCoolier.
Here.
Satyendra Sharma.
Yes.
And Kat McKee here. Okay, thank you all for joining tonight. So first order of business, I did not review the minutes, so we're gonna have to punt that as an agenda item. Satish submitted them, but I have not yet had an opportunity to go through them. So if you're okay punting that until next meeting. Okay, great. Okay, good. Okay, so phase one, Mass Trails thing. So did I get timesheets from everybody yet? I know Satish sent yours. Did we forget Will and Tom?
Let me go check my email. I thought I sent it to you, but I will check.
Okay, so if you could submit those, that'd be great. If I could have a few days off during Christmas to get that process, that would be lovely. We still need to do signage. We've just had some other priorities pop over, so we'll work on that. It's going to bleed into the beginning of Q1 of 2024. So Sati and I are going to be working on that, and I'll connect with you, Sati, offline to present some ideas to the committee next opportunity. The real topic tonight that we want to talk about is the phase two. So we have made some progress, and I have some things to report. And one of the biggest progress is, and will appreciate this, is the SPAC meeting is on for tomorrow, right, Will? At 9:30, you're on mute. And
9 a.m.
Is it 9? Oh, wait a minute. I got an invite from Bill Signs and it says 9:30 to 10:30. Are you sure about that? Now I have to check because that's important for me. I've got to go to work or not. Southborough public access. Mm, 9 a.m. Yeah. I wonder if he sent me the invite for 9:30 because he thought the meeting would take 30 minutes to talk about A and B. I don't know. You're on mute if you're talking low. So I'll just show up at 9.
Yeah, it's beginning at 9, so you're welcome to be there.
Yeah. So okay. So hopefully, yeah, I've got to squeeze it in before work. So that's great. So they're gonna talk about whether they are interested in providing a letter of support for the Peninsula Trail Project CPA application. So hopefully that will be the last letter we need. If they say yay, we'll get that from them and be able to submit to the CPA within the application. Speaking of the application, I've not heard of a new date yet. So it has worked to our delayed advantage because we've had some stuff that we've been trying to nail down that's going to be nailed down now. So that I imagine it may be next week, but if it's not next week, it'll be January, I'm assuming, all assumption. So what we need to talk about tonight is the community engineering core group, what they're able to do, and also on a bridge quote update and boardwalk update. So I'll start with the good news, which is community engineer and core I met with on Tuesday. And so they've found a partner, as I mentioned. They are interested in working with our group to provide geotechnical survey support, which is one aspect of the engineering plan. Okay, so it won't cover the whole cost, but will cover some of the costs. And actually, just for perspective, and because it's a worthwhile exercise to have me pull that up right now, what that means, because we have our quotes. So give me a second. All right, so I'm going to pull up Beals and Thomas, for example, and see if they broke it out. I know one other group had broken it out to see if the geotechnical piece. Yeah, so Beals and Thomas did not break out geotechnical. It's under design and permitting, maybe. Let me just see if someone else had. So this is pair or par. Does it go by par? I forget. Do you guys remember? Borings and survey, I think, is what the geotechnical is under. So, and that's $20,000, and that was about the number I had in mind that they would be covering pro bono. Let me do one more check of VHB. I think they broke it out geotechnical. Oh, 1,500. Who? All right, maybe that's. Oh no, geotechnical subconsultant. They have 28,000. All right, so it's a number. I'm not sure what it is going to be and what they're going to cover, but what it means is, and so unfortunately, Community Engineering Corps could not meet with the partner, and we don't know who it is yet. We will be revealed the name. It's a name that we'll all know, but we don't know that name yet until they meet with them and discuss some of the details. They're meeting with them tomorrow, Thursday. And then I've got another meeting scheduled with Community Engineering Corps on Friday to find out about that meeting. So when we discussed, they asked if there were any project updates and what we had for existing funds. And so we went through some of the details. We talked about some of the challenges, and we all know very clearly what the challenges are, but let's outlay them again. Timing is our biggest challenge right now. Making sure everything can work in a way that's going to make the project move forward in a way that it will. We need the engineering services done first before we can go to bid. And now we're approaching winter, and if we're going to be boring into the ground, is there an issue with frozen ground, and does that delay the project further? In addition, we need to understand the timeline for permitting from Southborough and for Framingham, because if we've got this partner moving forward, great. What we can't do anything until we have permitting in place, and so can we go ahead and start getting that in place? So now that we have some knowns, which is who's going to be doing geotechnical, we also now after our Friday meeting, I understand what they're able to do for pro bono services. Then we need to go back to our quotes and ask them which we need to choose, and we can do that tonight, which vendor we want to go with, and approach that vendor. And we'll have an A, B, and C. We'll go with A, and we'll approach A and say, okay, so we have an opportunity to partner with blah, blah for pro bono, but we need the rest of it covered by your firm. Do you have the bandwidth, the time, and the interest to help us do that, period? If A doesn't have that time, bandwidth, or interest, we go to B. C, I don't see as an option because they were so far out of par with costs that it wouldn't make sense to go with VHB, for example, because they were that much more expensive. So we don't feel like we would be getting the best value for the services that we need in our case. Does that sound like a tentative plan? Okay.
Nope.
So, and then, so all of that has to line up with this winter schedule, and then we have to race to the Southborough Conservation and Framingham Conservation and get things in place that need to get in place for permitting, and we have to understand what all that is. So we're going to need a nice big schedule of all the steps that need to take place. We need to understand how much funds we are going to need to spend on the engineering. So that's going to have to kind of come together, I would hope, in the next week or so. If we can reach out, if after my call on Friday, I can send an email out to A, B, and C, or A, and say, hey, A, can we revisit this project? This is what's changed. And can you provide a revised quote and what timeline? And so from that, we'll be able to put together our CPA application a little bit better with firmer numbers. That still might be a little bit, if it doesn't meet the timeline, we still might have like a second revision that we'll need to go back to for that. I'm experiencing some, nervousness about this because it is very complex and it's doable, but we need a lot of things to hit right and quickly. So that's usually not our experience with governments, but perhaps because we've laid some groundwork, you never know, the stars may be aligned and we'll see what we can do. But once yeah, so that's what we need to put together. And so that will give us a framework for numbers for CPA. I'll reach out to Mark once I have an understanding on Friday and let Mark Purple know, who did reach out about the status of the project. I'll let him know where we are with that. Again, an update so that he knows. And then we'll go from there and see what we can do and see if it's realistic. And, you know, we won't be going to bid. I don't think we'll be going to bid it might be until February, if everything can happen in January. I don't even know, right? We have to see what it looks like. Okay. Yeah.
We don't have to submit the permits before we go to bid, right?
Well, if we're going to be doing geotechnical work, which is drilling into the ground, we're going to need permits.
That's a good one to ask Melissa. If
We're
you
not going to be able to set foot on that ground until, just like the fencing, we couldn't do the fencing or any of that until we had an
permit, okay,
Yeah. But
because normally you need the information to submit the permit, but this is a permit to do the permit.
there's probably multiple permits, right? Like there's the NOI, which is allows you to touch within a wetland buffer, and then there may be other stuff if like, yeah, I don't know what other additional permits other than the NOI that we might run into. But they will be sharing it with us. The other thing that's going to impact costs, which we really need to get serious about, we have to revisit. So someone put a finger up and remember to revisit the quotes. We have to decide on a vendor tonight. But I got revised quotes from the bridge vendor. And it gives me a little pause. So I'm going to pull up some stuff and let us look through it. So let me share screens. All right. And I want us to visit these two first. Okay, so this one, what we're looking at now is the fiberglass boardwalk, right? And its estimate was 30, and we put in a total of 49. So we added hardware and some other stuff up here, right? So our estimate was 49.6 for the boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just take some notes here. Worst pen ever. Okay. So then, let me see, is this the bridge? So the bridge, we quoted at 83. Okay.
And this one doesn't need any engineering, does it? It just
Yeah.
needs wetland approval.
It does for footings. The
Okay.
footings of the bridge, yeah.
So I mean, the you said this is the boardwalk, not the bridge.
I switched over. Now I'm on the bridge. Yeah, so I just want you to see the numbers. So we're at 49.6, look in the red here, because we added some additional stuff after talking to them, and Buy America pops in, so 83.3. So these two are the numbers we were working with, and we got them in early 2022. So when I asked for a revised quote and asked to make sure that they included all the hardware so I wouldn't have to do this right on the side stuff, this is what we got. So first, let's look at his email. Maybe I should not cloud our judgment. Hold on. Oop, I don't want to show my email. Let me just pull this one up. Okay. I'm going to put it on the screen. Can everyone see the email now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's read.
Mm-hmm. And ported bolts. Is that the only thing? Bolts?
I don't understand.
What's that?
Okay.
Is American made hardware is our requirement?
It is required, so that's so.
They got some gray area there, he said.
It was required for the Mass Trails grant, so thank you, Sati, this is it. This is a good point. I need something to write on, hold on. I am without paper, hold on. So that's a really good point is, and I think, who was in the meeting? Did we ask about ARPA funds and Buy America? Somewhere we have asked that question. Because I don't know, it may be that it is required for those federal funds, or it may not be. Because the Mass Trails grant was federally funded too, and that might have been what drove that requirement. So we need to check on that to make sure it's a requirement still, because that's going to be a cost factor, a huge one. What I don't understand is, I explored, let's see. He said I'm talking about the boardwalk, making in the second paragraph, making a 10-foot section around $5,000 and 7 times total sections at around 35. Now, this does not include any American-made hardware in that budget. If you want that price, I would double the linear foot cost that I provided you. Oh, 500. It would be 1,000. Linear foot, making 10-foot section around 5,000. Does that mean a 10-foot section would be $10,000 for bolts made in America?
That sounds high.
It sounds, well, I think it sounds like I need to clarify what he means by that. I'm not quite getting it. Pricing also doesn't include the decking. This is what I asked him for. I don't want pricing without decking, because what am I going to do without boardwalk without decking? I need the decking, which is similar cost to the decking on the bridge. Shipping or engineering work, which will add around the same amount as was quoted previously. Our shipping and engineering costs haven't changed, only the decking, which will run about 2 to 3K more. Okay, so a few questions. One is the engineering. So these are pre-stamped engineering kit, pre-stamped engineering plans that come with the kit, right? What does that mean in relation to the engineering quote that we're getting?
So in my mind, this is, say like you're building a house and you do a prefab modular house. The plans for that house already has an engineering design for structural load and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this would be the same thing. This bridge has been designed for the structural load of all the components. Where it places it on is not included with those engineering design. What do you call it? Engineering sign-offs. So the bridge itself is architected and engineered and approved.
So you're saying the footings are not?
No. Same thing with a modular. The house is engineered for the carrying load, the beams, opens, the spans and all that stuff. But you still have to put it onto something that is, fits the requirements of the modular house. I think it's gonna be the same thing here. The bridge is designed, certified, engineered. We don't have to have any engineering work to be for the bridge. We just need where it's being placed.
Doesn't that seem like, so that drives the cost obviously up of the plans and such, but doesn't it seem like if we're just looking for engineering, and this is something we'll revisit, the engineering costs for the footings of both seem outrageous.
Did they break it up to one and the other? Because the bridge should be more than the boardwalk, because the structural load is different.
Sure. And it is different structure. So these are some things I just need to understand if we're getting engineer stamped plans, and just wanted to clarify with the engineering quotes that we are only quoting for the install, the footings and the install piece, that the kit comes pre-planned. I just want to make sure that that is a clear point with folks. So having said that, that's what he's got to say about things. So
Just can you go back to the, so there will be 7 sections, is that what he's saying? 10 foot,
yeah,
10 foot each?
that's 70 foot. Yeah, that was our boardwalk was longer. What did we say? Let me see where I can find that.
10-foot sections, 7 of them, 70 feet. I think that's about right.
Yeah, bridge, hold on, let me just.
So it will be around 70K if that is what he says.
No, it'll be 7 times 5,000.
No, but the
Oh, yeah.
cost will
Boardwalk
be
is about 75 foot long.
okay. Now what I'm saying is if he doubles it, it will be like 70K.
Okay, and the bridge is 60 foot. Okay, got it. Yeah. And that, yeah, okay. Those are estimates too. Okay, so that's where we're at with the quote that we had. And now, so let's look at, this is the, which one is this I'm looking at now? This is the bridge. All right, so he's got in here 86. So we were at 83, 350. So he's got 86, all right, right? Am I looking at that right? The bridge, yep, 86. And now let me just do a quick line quote, boardwalk, no, bridge, all right, here. So it was this, and this.
What is this drawings and calculations? Does it not, is it not included in the engineering design?
It is, that's what, he's just outlining it. So the engineering, the physical engineering stamp drawings and calcs, roughly 2,600 is what he's quoting. Is that what you're asking about?
Yes, so but it is not their part, right? It is the engineering
It's the
design.
engineering of the bridge itself. It's stamped drawings and calculations of the bridge itself.
Oh, okay.
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
Same thing with
So-
your other quote. The other one included that $2,600 in it. They didn't break it out, I don't think, did they? Oh yeah, they did. Is that the boardwalk?
That's the boardwalk. So I
Yeah,
need,
so they did do the same thing. So basically it cost $2,400 for the other one.
so this is, where is the other? I can't.
You just had it. You're going back and forth.
Oh, all right, I
Hmm.
need to do something, which is,
Mm.
No.
I know, I just lost it. I have to pull it back up. So give me just a second. I need to stop sharing to do this little exercise. I apologize. I feel a little discombobulated today. I would actually really like these to be labeled so I can see them. What is this one? This is the. That's Old Bridge. New Bridge. Why is that more? Oh, oh. Boardwalk. Bridge. Boardwalk. So he didn't provide another quote for Boardwalk. He just provided 2 bridges. Did I see Boardwalk? I'm so confused. See, that's a bridge, and that's a bridge. That's a boardwalk. Oh, so he only provide, okay, so that's better than I thought. Okay, fine. I thought he provided 2 quotes, one for each, and he couldn't because his calculator was down. Okay, are you seeing this again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was a quote at 86. This was roughly what we were seeing. I'm going to switch again. We were seeing at 83.35, and this included, okay, that. And so he's quoted 86. So that's roughly the same, but that's without Buy America, right? So in this next quote, This is with Buy America. This is why it's so expensive at 122.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Uh-huh. So yeah, that's a lot more. And that's gonna break the budget.
So do we find, well, I guess they ask is, do we have to do Buy America for this?
I thought we had already asked this question.
I get confused with the fence too.
Yeah, so I thought, what, Carla, Buy America. I thought we had. There's no Buy America provision. Read this, no Buy America provision with ARPA. Yes. I'm sorry, I love Buy America program until you have to spend the money and then you're like, whoa, no. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to get that. That's going to be politically uncomfortable if someone quotes me on this. Or snippets my face saying that. Happy stuff. Yeah, because we don't have $122,000. Okay, so the good news is, okay, much better than I thought. The bridge is roughly in the same ballpark. And what did he say about the he quoted, was it 35 for the
Yeah, 35 now, and non-American.
Brandon? Okay. Yeah, so he quoted like 35K, and what we have for the boardwalk is 49K because we put, 35K, but he said he didn't put the decking in there, so add another 2 to 3, so 39, and I had 49, so we should be fine. Okay, great, mystery solved. All right, so that's the revised pricing, so we can include that in our CPA application. My question is this. We've done this review. We can get another quote for a fiberglass bridge or boardwalk. It may be a similar quote. I'm curious if we should start looking at not using fiberglass as much as we promoted it. I fully and firmly believe if we can afford it, we should, but will it, if we run into money troubles, do we want to have a backup plan? Is it worth asking our engineers? And this is a question we have to ask now, because if we're going to go through a geotechnical, I don't know if it's the type of bridge that's going to determine the type of analysis. There's a lot of variables that we don't know how things interrelate. Do we want to consider another type of bridge?
So what is the alternative? I mean, is that the
Wood?
wooden bridge?
Yeah. The only problem with that is the maintenance and the longevity is not the same by any means. And we'll be looking at, and paying for a new bridge or updates or, that kind of thing. I can tell you what I can do. When we talk to company A, when we decide who the engineering firm is, and if they agree to move forward, we can ask them some thoughts on what they have for thoughts, and see if we can get a recommendation. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to spend too much if it's not worthwhile, but I don't want to be inexpensive now and have to do this process again in 15 years, which, as I gave an example after the last Trail Summit, Framingham has this wonderful boardwalk. After 20 years, it's done. That they need to completely replace it. And that's where we might be. And after all this effort and energy, I don't think, we want to be in that position. So any thoughts are?
Yes, it will
Let's
be
go.
somebody else's problem.
Did you just not say that?
Touche.
Yeah.
Let's go with the fiberglass. That's what we've been talking about. And if it gets denied, I mean, we could probably, with this ET Tectonics, give a wooden bridge alternative.
And that's a good, no, they focus firmly on, well, I can reach out, but they focus on fiberglass bridges and boardwalks.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I'm reminding myself too, as we talk, that we decided that this area is really tricky to get to.
Right.
And
So let's go with the fiberglass and just
the
for
kit,
those reasons.
yeah, the kit is one of those put together, easier to put together than bringing in large equipment or any number of things. And yeah, so I
Stay
don't
with
know.
the fiberglass. No, it's for all the reasons you basically that second reason, besides the longevity, is access to this area.
Yeah,
We don't want to do it more than once.
no.
Yep,
So,
stay with
okay.
it.
All right, and
That's my vote.
yeah. How about others? Any thoughts that are contrary to that?
Now, if we don't have the issue with the expenses, yeah,
Yeah.
fine.
All right, so it's yeah, so if we can make it work, let's make it work. Okay. So that's the components, the bridge, the boardwalk, we've got updated quotes, we've got an updated we're gonna have some information by Friday on what the the firm, and we'll also be able to share the partner because they're gonna need to work with our engineering company, and we'll be able to share the name, and that may entice them and they feel, oh, we want to partner with this other group. So that's that. So again, I will update us, once I've got more information, but the next step, and I need the committee to share whether they're on board with this, is getting the application, the CPA application updated with the best, and I'll just say the best numbers we have at the time, because I don't think they're best and final yet, but best numbers we have to come to and then incorporate the letters of support. And I think I did not add pictures the first time around, so I'll add pictures, just a few pictures that are demonstrating where the bridge is going to go, things that we've already used and drafted, and go from there.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so I'm, really want to make this work, but we, as a committee, we gotta be nose to the grindstone for another period of time. So I appreciate your willingness to do that. I'm hopeful. We have a lot of support, but we cannot lose that ARPA money. We have to make this work. So where there's a will, there's a way, right, Will?
Yep. What's our drop dead date?
By December 2024. The funds have to be encumbered. And I do have a clarifying question I need to ask Tim Davis or Melanie about encumbered funds. Like, if they're encumbered, meaning they're contracted, do they have to be like fully paid? Or if the invoice hasn't come in, but we have a PO for it, does that work? You know what I mean? Like, I need to understand the details of encumbered.
I once went through and I was thinking that if a committee voted to spend its budget, that would encumber it, but that was not the case.
Yeah, and
So
there might
yeah,
be
you should ask very carefully, and also maybe even run it past a higher up as well.
Yeah, I think Carla in the accounting department could define what it means in her world.
She might be a little bit more liberal in her interpretation of the rules.
Well, she's in the accounting department.
I understand, but I think
Yeah, I'll get it from multiple sources to your.
yeah,
I never trust one source anymore. It's not a trust issue with people. Everyone has a different understanding.
Well, it's just that you don't want. I mean, it might be that Mark Purple is going to come in and say, no, that's not really encumbered or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. So that's that piece. Okay. So I'm just trying to think if there's oh yeah, what we're trying to we have to choose the vendor. Okay, so let's look at vendor quotes. Let me just get rid of some of this because there's too many things in my face. I can't tell what they are. There's Beals.
How many vendors do we have?
There's PAR and VHB. We've got 3.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up Beal and Thomas first. And I do want to say, like, I had good experiences with all the vendors. And VHB is the vendor that has traditionally been contracted by the town as their engineering for DPW. Beals, I think it was Par was the only company that said, hey, let's get out there and look at what you have. So they did a site visit. That scores high in my book because they saw the site, they know what they're getting into, right? Beals and Thomas, very responsive. Both those firms, very responsive. Took a call, went through the details, and I felt like they both had very responsive quotes. We might need to drill down into them to make sure they're apples to apples. Like what we want to come out of this is with a set of engineering plans that we can include in our bid, and that they help with the bid process in the way that, you know, there may be some specific technical questions that they all need to answer. And so that's what we're looking for services. Okay. And these quotes need to be revised if we take out the geotechnical services or whatever we're getting from pro bono, right? So it's hopefully going to reduce the cost to a point, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and you guys had these quotes a while back. Is there any benefit? Would you like me to resend them right now so you have them on your screens? Would that be beneficial to you?
Yes.
Okay. So you just give me just 2 seconds. Then. Okay, so we're not going to read this team stuff. I'm looking for the meat and potatoes here. Okay. Technical proposals. So, regulatory research will perform online research to obtain and confirm current local use regulations. We anticipate that these will include Planning Department, Conservation Commission, and other relevant good. We'll perform an analysis, and we're talking about who now? Beals and Thomas. Perform an analysis to regulations to identify potential land use and environmental permits. Okay, we'll include local state regs. Great. Topical survey, the wetlands resource delineation. That's what we need. Yep. Okay. Limited field survey. We'll perform a limited topographic field survey to approximately a half acre. All right. We'll prepare a limited topo plan of the property. Okay.
So we're
Design.
looking at Beals and Thomas.
Yeah, Beals and Thomas right now. And I'm on page 8, top of. So design and permitting, design coordinate. We will coordinate the final engineering designs and preparation of site work construction docs with the town. The site work documents will incorporate the comments and requirements. Okay. Geotechnical engineering will engage the services of subcontractor geotechnical to perform borings along the route of the boardwalk and the pedestrian bridge. These borings will be conducted to determine the.
So 2.2, is that the pro bono work?
That's what I think is the pro bono work. Yeah.
And you know what? We will
What?
engage the services of a subcontracted geothermal engineer.
Say what? What was that?
Read the first things.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. They're subcontracting that out. So there's a cost for that.
Yeah, I think that they would have included that subcontractor cost.
Oh, I know they did, but
Oh.
what we're saying is that cost can be backed out.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So structural engineering will engage the services of a subcontractor structural engineer to prepare the design of a helical pier to support the elevated boardwalk and abutments on each side of the stream. Okay. At this time, we anticipate the boardwalk and bridge will be prefabricated structures provided by a vendor. Okay. Local permitting, permit drawings. We'll prepare a set of drawings to accompany the permit application, and anticipate We will represent approximately 75% of the design completion will include the following: topo, site plan, site work details, okay? Notices of intent. We will prepare and submit notices of intent for proposed site work to the Southborough and Framingham Conservation pursuant to that. Great. Prepare notice of intent for stormwater and da-da-da-da. Coordinate the compilation of certified abutter list and notification to the abutters, copying the transmittal.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah, right. This is wonderful. Feeling excited. Construction documents, design coordinate. We'll coordinate the final engineering designs and prep of site work, construction docs with the owner and remainder of the team. Site work, construction drawings, da-da-da-da. We'll refine the approved project site plan. Okay. Technical specs will prepare a set of tech specs for the site improvements depicted by our firms. Specifications will be prepared by CSI format. All right, blah, blah, blah. Bidding assistance will assist with the prep and distribution of the project bid as appropriate. We will attend project pre-bid meetings to review the project site. Okay, great. Construction support services. We assume the project construction period to be approximately 1 month. This proposal includes an allowance of 16 hours for field representation and supporting office work as described below. If the project requires effort in excess of this, a budget extension will be requested. Compliance and permit conditions. We'll attend meetings, contractor to review applicable permit conditions. We'll coordinate with the contractor and regulators as necessary. Review of submittals. We will review and approve or take other appropriate action upon contractors' submittals, such as site work, shop drawings, product data, material mock-ups, samples, and other submittals for conformance with the design intent of the site. We anticipate that soil and concrete submittals will be. So they're serving as, this is project management? Construction support services. Isn't that what I'm reading? That they're actually, when the project gets underway, we will meet with the contractor to review the applicable permit conditions. Is that what I'm reading?
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, they're going to be there. They're not going to build the bridge, but if the the company that we hired to build the bridge have any questions and stuff, they'll be willing to go on site and review. And it seems soups to nuts. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so that makes sense, because as an engineering firm, you're going to need to make sure, because you're like, if you're some of the liabilities on you with these plans, the liability of the build is on the builder. And I know, Will, you have a ton of great questions about the liability, so let's not get into those weeds yet. All of them will be asked and answered before we start, so I'm with you. But I just want to kind of understand.
Any warranties or support? I mean, after the
That's a
build?
really good question. Like, what happens if there is a problem? Who do we go to? And what do you, yeah, like, when you get your house painted or maybe build, or there's a warranty for a period of time. I guess we should understand all of that as well. We'll make site visits as requested during important phases of site work. During these visits, we will become familiar in progress and quality of the work. And if the work is proceeding in accordance to the contract documents, we will issue written construction observation reports. Wow, punch list. As the project nears completion, we'll conduct this is great. All right, excluded services. The following are some of the services that are not included, in addition to those that may be indicated elsewhere. Contract review and negotiation, fine. Preparation of quantity of cost estimates, substantial revisions of the project plans or documents, assistance with appeals arising from issuance or denial of permits, preparation of multiple sequential construction document packs, additional meetings, additional construction support, and excess of hourly allowance, as built survey, and preparation of filing of request for certification of compliance. I'm curious about request for certification of compliance with that.
In other words, they're not responsible to.
Well, that sounds
make
like
sure
we
the
have to do
bridge is-
that. What is that, and who do we do that with?
That's with the permit. So when you get a permit, if you build an addition or a house, you need a certificate, in that case, certificate of occupancy. So this would be the same thing.
Okay, it's kind of like the building inspector going out and inspecting the
Final
fence
inspection, yes.
and making sure it's done. Perfect.
Is there any timeline for them if once everything is there and they start doing their work?
They said they thought the project would take about a month to build.
Mhm.
Will
The,
commence services upon receipt of executed, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is what the fees are: data gathering, design and permitting, construction, and so it's 69,000 for all of that. Less geotechnical, which we're not sure where it falls into here, right? So
Right.
some number less than this. Great. Okay, so that's Beals and Thomas, and I'm feeling pretty good, although I see a typo in the way I wrote Beals and Thomas in their template. Maybe that's not me, maybe that's
One
actually-
question here. So this is just to understand, this doesn't include the construction?
No,
Oh, okay.
because that's what we're going to bid for, right, Sati?
Okay.
We're going to bid for, and actually we need to think about how that revises the bid. If, I guess there still needs to be a project manager, so that's fine. The bid is the project manager to put together and to buy the bridge and the boardwalk and to put them together. That's what we're going to bid for, those services. Okay. All right, next up is PAR. I think it's PAR.
one question.
Yeah.
We had noted that 2.2 would be done by the pro bono work.
Updating
The chapter 2 is like $48,000. So I'm just wondering how much 2.2 will actually back out.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but that is the question, Will. Yeah,
Yeah.
we will ask that question and find out.
I think it's an easy one. Once we select our A and B, we can actually just ask them that question. We have a pro bono work for the
Yeah.
geothermal.
Well, look at what VHB broke it down to be $28,000. So I don't think it's insignificant.
I mean,
Right.
it's an easy enough question. We have pro bono. How does that affect your bid?
Yeah.
I was looking at chapter 2 and it seemed like there's a lot of things in there beside 2.2. So yeah, that'll be the good question.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through PAR. Let's see, requires scope. I'm gonna just scroll down to scope. So pre-engineered bridge foundation design, wetland delineation, PAR will review available data. Okay. Based on current understanding of the project, the resource areas to be delineated are expected to be limited.
Can you just make your screen just a little bit bigger?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll get rid of this guy and make it here. Is that better?
Oh, much better.
Sorry, you shouldn't suffer in silence ever. All right, data collection and field review. Available data pertaining to existing bridge, prefabricated construction drawings and design, and previous studies.
Oh, look at that right at the bottom of your page. Geothermal will subcontract. So that's another good thing.
Yep. PAR will perform a visual review. Okay, so PAR will subcontract a boring contractor to complete test. Okay. PAR will prepare type logs. All right. Please note that this scope of work does not include assessment of presence of oil or hazardous materials at the site, and the characterization of the excavated soil, groundwater that may be generated as a result. Oh, please, let's not do that. All right, topographical survey. PAR will retain the services of a licensed land survey. Bridge foundation plans. PAR will prepare and submit for review the foundation plans for pre-engineered boardwalk, structure, and bridge. Based on the information, it's anticipated that the proposed structures will be constructed a prefab composite bridge structure with the boardwalks totaling 100 feet and the river crossing 65 feet. All right, that's 100 feet, a little higher than we had estimated, but we'll work out the details. The foundation types selected will consider the results of the boring. Great. All right. Opinion of probable construction cost. Upon completion of the foundation plans, PAR prepare a summary of work items, the estimated quantities and units of measurements for budgeting purposes. The quantities will be assigned an estimated unit value. This information will be summarized and an opinion of probable construction costs will be provided. Technical specs. PAR will prepare limited tech specs phases to the submitted commission for review. All right, environmental permitting. Currently, the project is anticipated to require temporary and permanent unavoidable impacts to resource areas along the project. PAR will seek minimize and avoidable, okay? Wetlands Protection Act. The culvert replacement is subject to the jurisdiction of, this is not part of our, this is a cut and paste from the wrong proposal. Because it says the culvert replacement is subject to the jurisdiction of Holliston Conservation Commission.
Oops.
Oops. So now I've got a question about this next section or whatever.
So they just recycle the
Yeah,
document.
most of this stuff is gonna be the same. Someone didn't do a good cut and find and replace.
Oh, here's another cut and paste, right? Or what is, no, okay. So they say it may require chapter 91 waterways license. We didn't get that with the other one.
Waterway dredging permit. We're not dredging.
Is it a navigable waterway?
It- I don't think things are allowed on it. If that's what navigable means, like you can navigate on it, you should not be in that waterway because it's not, it's a release from a dam that you're not allowed to be in. So I don't know why it's considered navigable. It could be a definition that we don't know why people define things that way or
Or
government.
it could be not a cut and a paste from the other house. Stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe,
so
and that
bidding
might be the thing.
assistance, PAR will schedule a pre-bid info meeting to be coordinated with the town is required to gain access to site. PAR will preside over the pre-bid meeting to provide interested contractors with a summary of proposals. At the discretion of the commission, PAR will make attendance at pre-bid mandatory to ensure that any contract bids is site-specific. PAR will address questions that may arise during the bidding process, will prepare an addenda as necessary. Upon receipt of contractors, PAR will develop a bid tabulation of bids from lowest to highest. All right, PAR will also.
So they're actually gonna do the bidding stuff for us?
Yeah, both of them. They're gonna prepare the bid.
Okay, but this one
Yeah.
it says we'll prepare a recommendation for the contract winner.
Yeah, I'd
third
have to,
paragraph.
that's a great thing to call out. Like, that's why we're doing the comparison, is like to make sure that when we see one thing and one, that the other will be doing it. So making sure that Beals and Thomas will help with the selection process. If needed, like at that point, we're all gonna have a little master's in engineering.
Yeah, I know.
We're like, we got it.
But this thing looks like he's creating another Panama Canal or something. Dredging, you know.
Okay, services provided by the client. Client shall provide the following: copies of any previous reports, internal coordination with town departments, final completion of grant applications, submission of applications, okay. Outside services. So what they didn't mention was any permitting or notice of intent attending those with Southborough Framingham. I'd want to clarify, and that
All
was
that permitting stuff is not there.
let me check. Because if we can get that covered, I'd super appreciate it. We're still gonna have a lot of work to do with the coordinating the sides and stuff, but at least we can have it support. All right, PAR will contract a soil boring contractor to complete subsurface exploration. All right, fine. Additional services. Other services required by the client that are not part of the scope, as described above, shall be considered additional. As described above, additional services shall be furnished by PAR or obtained as needed. Period of service. What it says, other services required by the client that are not part of the scope as described above shall be considered additional. All right, period of
That's
service.
standard
The
stuff.
time period, yeah, but I like clarification of what's excluded, like the other guys did, just because it really brings it
I
home.
thought it did above.
Outside services,
Right
PAR.
there. Oh, it should say, well, yeah, they kind of like did it. If it's not here, it's out.
Yeah, it says if it's not above. then it's
Yeah.
out. Okay, got it. A time period of these will be through the fiscal year. All right, the agreement will extend into such no basis of compensation client shall pay. All right, fine. Estimated charges. Reimbursable borings and surveys. See, I think that's geotechnical. So I think it's in the 20,000 range. So I don't think it's inconsequential. So environmental permitting. So they have environmental permitting here. So that feels like it's included. So just a clarification. So they're at 81 month. And I think invoices, okay, additional services, let's see, services required by the commission, which are not part of the scope, shall be furnished oral directives by the commission, authorizing additional services. Oh, you're still not detailing it. Oh, here's labor rates.
Reimbursable expenses.
Yeah,
So in other words,
Well-
we will be paying for this too.
yeah.
So where they be traveling from every time they come?
Yeah, they're local. It's not, it won't be, it's not gonna be too ugly.
Okay.
I guess we do want to make sure. I don't think ARPA has restrictions for expense reimbursement, but I guess we should check in case that's a hiccup. Okay. So what we're not seeing with pairs permitting, right? Where we specifically see it here, but let me just check something because they said something about wetland delineation up here. They will do the delineation based on current
Mhm.
data collection available, data pertaining to geotechnical topical surveys, bridge foundation, opinion of probable construction costs. They say nothing, environmental permitting. Currently, the project is anticipated to require temporary, unavoidable, blah, blah, blah. PAR will seek to minimize, PAR will provide the following permitting. This is where the section got screwed up. So,
Right.
yeah, so we need to clarify, but it sounds like they in good intent, they tried to include permitting. Is that your interpretation? I'll clarify.
Yep, I do.
But I think that's what the attempt was here. Okay. So, we've got, 2 quotes, 81, and we've got another one at 69. And let me just see if they provided any hourly rates here. Yes, they did. So let's look at our senior. We got 260 to 50. Looking over here. Hold on. Did they provide some? Yes. Oh. Okay. So they went, 100 to 280. So it's roughly, there's a lot more ones in there than twos. Do you see that?
Yeah, but your clinical staff office personnel is making $100 an hour.
Oh no, there's only a few twos. There's enough ones. Okay, I'm just trying to eyeball it without doing details.
Yeah, but you got to remember that this is, I mean, these people are not always on jobs, so
Right.
they're not making $100 an hour, to them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think if we were just looking at costs, 69 versus 81, right? And I would be comfortable going with Beals as number 1A and PAR as number 2. How do you guys feel about that? Just based on cost, since that's what our bid is going to force us to do anyway. And I think we have 2 very good candidates here. So either one will win.
Yep, I
it will be
agree with
less.
you.
Well, with the exception that the second quote PAR, had some copy and paste problems, which
Right.
we'd have to get resolved.
Absolutely. Well, we need revised quotes if we move forward anyway, because we're taking out geotechnical.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I think you should ask that same, ask for parse to fix that section and make sure the permitting is included. And also to back out the price of the geothermal because we're getting that pro bono. And you can share who we're getting it.
Right. That's going to be my nugget when I reach back out to him. I'll say, hey, Beals, you remember that project you quoted us on? This is what we've been doing. This is what we have now. This is who we're going to partner with for this. We got pro bono. Are you guys still interested in working with them? This really big name, and it's going to make you look good and they're going to look good because you're working together, and we're going to look good because we got.
I think you're overplaying that. It's a subcontractor. It's just a
No,
one little
I
piece.
understand. I'm just noting it, like just putting it out there is like having a known partner will just, they'll be able to work with that versus saying we're going to work with somebody. That's all I'm saying, is that putting them in touch with an unknown subcontractor that they're going to be forced to work with.
We should tell them, just tell them who we have.
But we don't know yet. So that's why I have to strategically wait. So I'll plan to reach out. I'll probably prepare the materials so when Friday, so we can move this forward maybe before the holiday, just to know what we need to know more. I will send out the emails after I talk to our people at Community Engineering on Friday, send it out to them and see what they say. And hopefully we'll get a response back with a yay, nay. And if it's a yay, nay, then we go back to, because I'm not going to ask both to requote if we're not going to go with both. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna ask one to requote and see if they're interested. And then if they're not, we go to plan B.
Agreed. Don't
That
have
way
them.
we're not wasting people's time.
Agreed.
Okay. So this was a good exercise. I'm glad we stepped through that. I feel better about the understanding kind of the services and such. Do you guys have any other questions? And as you're thinking about it tonight and tomorrow, like Will, you followed up the last meeting with 50 questions that were all great questions.
No, only 25. I mean, let's not exaggerate here.
True that. But yeah, those were really great questions. So if as you're thinking about it, you've got some great ideas, jot it down and send me an email. And we'll pull that all together. But anything else now
I
that
guess
you're thinking about?
so basically there would be 3 different pieces here. One is the buying the boardwalk and the bridge, right?
That's going to be in the bid.
Yep. And
Yep.
then there's this engineering services.
That's what we're going to pay for before the bid to get to
And
the
then-
bid. We have to include.
And then
the-
we have the pro bono work, which is also going to be done before the bid as well.
Yeah, that's going to be combined with the engineering services. Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that has to be included?
In what?
I don't know. Just,
In everything?
yeah.
Yeah, we still have phase 1 signage. If you're looking at project's full scope, we've got to get the signage done on phase 1 and get that in.
Okay.
And then we have the paving. So part of the CPA application, if we're talking about that too, we've got paving that is in the application for the ADA parking.
Okay. So we're going to go with like full paving on those spots then.
Yeah, because and Tim Davis asked, is that a recommendation or a requirement? And I asked the ADA consultant to revise the report to be explicit when he made a recommendation, and he said, as is, it does not qualify for ADA. The parking does not in its current state because of the state of the gravel. It's not the right gravel with ground, stone dust that compacts and doesn't have loose. Right now it's slippery-ish, slippery in the way that you could trip on rocks and stuff. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think that is most of what we needed to talk about today. I do want to just bring up a couple things. One is we need to consider, I'm going to just plant some seeds. So if the CPA application is accepted and moves forward, we need to start thinking about how we're getting the word out to gain support. So something the capital planning board did, they shared the committee. They put out a video one year when they had an initiative or two, and they shared it broadly so that they wouldn't have to attend every meeting and take time in everyone's meeting, and they got the word out. And I really like that approach because it was important for us to be in front of all the meetings when we went before for our CPA application or our town warrant article for the bylaw committee when we were going to change from ad hoc to standing, but it was a huge time investment. And I think we can try this different approach and only attend the really core meetings, which might be advisory and the select board when it comes time to discuss the CPA application warrant. Does that make sense to you guys? So start thinking creatively, because you're all going to be in the video. It's not just going to be cat. So we'll do a little skit or something. No, but think we might want to do some kind of video where we superimpose what it could look like, right? Give them a visual of what we're looking to do so that they aren't just thinking it's putting a wooden bridge over a stream. We're creating an experience, something that we can build on in the future too. So as you take some time off and decompress from work and stuff, that's when our creative juices can get flowing. So start thinking of some ideas that we can maybe do for that. And then website, we need to get our website revised. I haven't had the bandwidth this year to get into the training on all of that, but I've had some feedback. Where's this? Where's that? I can't find this map. I can't find that map. So where it used to be one-stop shop, it's now on 5 different pages. So we want to kind of think about, we'll start revisiting that. But we do have to prioritize it in our list of stuff. It's important, but we have to kind of try to get things going. And social media. So I've not been active with our Facebook page for quite a while. And I know we're all a group of diverse social media uses, like we don't all partake as much in social media as some other people and groups. So it makes it a little more challenging to be natural for us to do so. But I'd like to come up with a plan for 2024 to be more proactive with our website, with our Facebook, so that we can continue to get supporters and we can continue to use that avenue as a way to connect with people. And especially as we approach town meeting, we'll want to put a lot of information out through there. So I don't want to make it hugely overworking, too much to do, but having a plan of some sort. And, now that AI is in our lives in such a way, is there a tool that we can use to help generate content that won't have to come from us? I mean, we're not really the right committee to have AI use for social media, but anything to help streamline what we're doing, but to keep getting content out there so that we don't lose our algorithm rating, is where I'm coming from. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas, but let's start thinking about that for the new year. And then also related to all of this, as things kind of start to gel a little bit more, I'm going to be sending updates to DCR and MWA. We've been a little silent with them just because we've been trying to work things out. Now that we have a rough game plan, it's time to communicate with them and let them know where we are at so that everyone has an idea. Melanie from the town hall has sent out an email to the boards, committees, and commissions for an annual update that's due in January. That's where we go and we just write a little summary of what we did and accomplished the year before, a year in review. So that goes into the annual report book. And so we'll be needing to prepare something for that. So we'll be working on that and get something out to you guys for your review.
Have you received a poke from Melanie on that subject?
Yeah, I reached out to her, because of the meeting we had, Will, and then she reached out to the committees. Let me just see when she reached out. It was last week, the 7th.
Okay.
She wrote to, I think, everybody. It's due on the 19th. I'm so glad that it's no longer
It's due on the 19th of this month.
of the January. It
Oh,
says no
January.
later than January. Any reports received past the 26th will not be included. Usually it's due in December, which is like, oh, I can't.
And this is Melanie Otsuko?
Uh-huh. That's
Okay.
it. Yep. And then I don't know, do you know if the select board, they do annual updates too? It might be too late for that. Did anyone following them? They usually ask for like a few bullet points from boards about updates. I wonder if they were doing that, but I think we've missed that opportunity. It's just a way to get more visibility because people listen to the select board meetings more than some of the others. So anyway, I might reach out and see. There's not a lot. They only want 2 or 3 bullets. They don't want a paragraph or 5. So I'll look into it and see if that opportunity is, if we've missed it or not. But anyway, that's it. Anything else from any of you on thoughts? No. Okay, great. So this will probably be our last meeting this year. I think we might have hit close to 20 meetings. I don't know. I have to go back and look. So thank you very much. I'm grateful for everyone who serves on this committee, and I really appreciate all of your good thinking and thoughts. And I think we're doing great things, trying to do better things. And I'm really hopeful that we can do this project in 2024. And with all of us doing it, pulling in the same direction, I think we can make it happen. So I want to say thank you for everything you guys have done for and Isabella, who's not here with us today, but everything everyone's done. It's a good committee, and I've always enjoyed working with you on it. So
Likewise.
thank you. Okie doke. If that's it, then do we have a motion to,
Next meeting date.
Yes.
trying to escape? Just kidding. Okay, so
Sorry.
let's see. All right. We should probably do something in early January. And in anticipation of a CPA, like if they don't meet next week, then they're gonna probably meet early in January, I would anticipate. So how is the 3rd?
Third should work.
It's a Wednesday, Will. I don't know
Yep.
if you have Rotary or something on Wednesday.
I usually do, yes.
Is it the first Wednesday?
Yeah, I have it on the first Wednesday.
All right. How about the 2nd? No.
How about the 10th? The 10th
No.
would be great.
I'm a little concerned about if CPA, well, actually, maybe we don't need to meet before CPA because we've just finalized everything tonight. So, all right, let's shoot for the 10th. If something needs,
10th is not possible
what was that?
for me. 10th is not good.
It's
for
not
me.
good for you. Okay. How about the 9th?
9th is fine.
That's Winston's birthday.
That's your dog, right? Do you want, maybe he can join us?
Hmm.
Are you giving, no, we're doing the 9th. Are you celebrating or something?
Yes, he's the life. You don't celebrate?
What else do you have going on? Just be real.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Huh?
Just like I can't. I can't. All right, so let me put this in Trails Committee.
Yeah, but if Winston was a cat, she would.
I know. I know.
Totally valid.
I know.
Yeah, it's a
There'd be
completely
no
different
meeting.
issue.
He
No
is so
meeting.
anti-dog.
I love dogs actually. You
Yeah.
know what we were thinking? We should get a robot dog because we have a robot vacuum that the cats are not afraid of, which is surprising. So we're like, what if we got a robot dog and then started to socialize the idea with the cats and see if they would accept a dog?
Yeah.
That's the
I'll bring my dog over. He'll set
Your dog
everything
is
straight.
too big. I'm actually sometimes afraid of Winston. Okay, so we've got
They're
the
like, I don't know if you can see him.
Ruff Ruff. Hello, buddy. Yeah, he's just a big baby. Okay,
All
the
right, so the
9th.
10th, you have the
No,
9th.
it's Tuesday the 9th at 7:30. I'll send out a reminder. I'll go ahead and reserve Zoom so I don't run into any New Year forgetfulness. Thank you all. Now, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So be it.
I
Tom,
second.
great. And let's do a vote. Sati,
Yes.
Will,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Kat. Yes, great. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
You
Happy
too.
holidays.
All right, take care.
Holidays.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.